In the middle of the Caribbean Sea, a family was spending their holidays on their yacht. The mother, Julia, jumps into the water to swim. While relaxing, she feels something strange, but seeing nothing around, she thinks she might be mistaken. A few seconds later, the same feeling occurs. This time too, nothing is seen, but now she panics and starts swimming towards the yacht. Just then, someone suddenly starts pulling her leg and she starts screaming for help. Her daughter Casey was listening to music with headphones on, so she hears nothing. Husband Tom and son Ben were busy fishing. Julia tries to stay afloat, but as water enters her mouth, it becomes difficult for her to scream. After a while, Tom realizes that he hasn't seen Julia for a long time. He searches for her on the yacht, and then sees his wife in danger. He calls the kids, takes the yacht in that direction, and jumps into the water. Reaching Julia quickly, he catches her and swims towards the yacht. The kids pull both of them up. The family tends to Julia, but Julia convinces herself that maybe it happened because of the waves. At night, everyone celebrates Ben's birthday together. Casey gets a call from her boyfriend, so she goes outside with her laptop. On the video call, her boyfriend shows that large black clouds have covered the city. The call glitches and freezes. Casey comes to tell the family about this, but Tom says that maybe the signal is weak due to being far from the land. Just then, everyone hears a sound. They all go outside and see a pod of whales passing by. Tom explains that whales always follow the Earth's magnetic field, but when a storm comes, they get confused. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls down. Tom worries if the yacht has been damaged, so he goes down for a dive to check. After a while, he comes back up, but had a large wound on his shoulder. Julia immediately stitches his wound. Tom says that underwater he felt as if there was a very large creature behind him, but when he turned to look, his shoulder got cut by hitting the propeller. He says whatever it was very big. Tom sees a lot of damage to the yacht, so they have to call for help. Julia tries repeatedly on the radio. Casey looks for a signal on the phone, but nothing works. Just then, Casey sees a strange creature and screams. But it was Ben, who was playing a prank wearing a mask. After a while, the yacht shuts down completely and gets stuck in the middle of the ocean. Julia hears a voice on the radio, but the sound was so bad that she can't understand anything. Tom tells the family that they have only 4 days of food and water left, and now they have to wait for some fishing boat. Suddenly, something is caught on the radar, and the family hears a strange sound. Everyone runs outside and is surprised to see many meteors falling to the ground. Wherever the meteors are falling, there is a big explosion. A meteor falls into the water near them. Tom immediately tries to start the yacht. The engine starts with great difficulty, but just then another meteor hits that area. Out of fear, the family holds each other tightly. Only then Tom realizes that the fireballs falling are not meteors but satellites. At that time, Ben sees smoke coming out of the yacht. Tom checks and confirms that the engine is ruined. As the wind starts blowing hard, the family hides inside the yacht without noticing that the compass is spinning very fast. The yacht starts rocking violently. Ben falls again, and this time he gets injured too. The waves were hitting the yacht rapidly. Tom goes out with great difficulty and brings life jackets. Just then the power goes out. Tom immediately presses the button on the power box and the light comes back. At that time, Ben notices blood coming from Julia's nose. Julia's head starts spinning and Casey goes to the sink and vomits. Tom keeps trying the radio but doesn't get a signal. Suddenly a sharp, high-pitched sound comes and the wind becomes even stronger. Julia tries to close the door, but a hatch opens and the wind starts breaking the windows. Tom lights a flare, and after a while, darkness descends. The next morning, the family wakes up stunned that they survived the storm, but the yacht is half destroyed. When they come out, they see that the seawater has disappeared and the yacht is now stuck on the ground. Everyone is shocked to see this. Casey checks the signal, but the network was completely down. Ben starts playing with 2 dead crabs. Tom checks the compass and sees that it has reversed. This happened last time 700,000 years ago. Casey feels her boyfriend might be dead and she breaks down. When Julia comes to console her, Casey pushes her away and hides. Julia and Tom look at the remaining supplies. Ben ties his birthday balloons to a rock so that maybe some survivor can see them. Tom tries the radio again and this time gets in touch with a man. His name is Now, and he is the captain of a submarine. His submarine is also stuck on the ground. He confirms that the magnetic poles have reversed, so the sea has receded and the land has submerged. He says he hasn't seen any other survivor yet, and the communication system is completely down. He further says that the poles will reverse again, and maybe within a week the sea will return. He warns the family to get as high as possible because when the water returns, it will be very dangerous. He says his partner died in the crash, and there is room for only 3 people in the submarine. Julia and Tom request him to please save our children. He gives them the coordinates. Tom calculates that it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. He tells the family to rest well tonight. We will leave tomorrow morning. The next morning, the family was packing things. Just then, Tom sees something moving nearby. It was a lame man with a harpoon in his hand, and a dog was barking continuously with him. Tom goes to him and gives him a water bottle. But that man speaks in a language that Tom cannot understand. After drinking water, that stranger suddenly hits Tom on the head with the bottle and kicks him hard in the mouth. Julia runs out of fear, but by then it's too late. That man has thrust the harpoon into Tom's stomach. Tom struggles for a while and then he cuts his throat too. Then that man runs after Julia and throws a harpoon at her, injuring her shoulder. Julia endures the pain and runs inside the yacht and tells the kids to hide. She locks the door. Casey and Ben get inside the sofa. Julia hands them the flare gun and hides in the bathroom herself with a knife. That man pushes the door hard and finally enters. First he picks up some food and then starts looking here and there in the yacht. Then he goes towards the bathroom, but Julia intelligently gets out through a small hole. The man thinks Julia has escaped, but whenever she tries to get out carefully, his dog sees her and starts barking. When the dog pounces on her, Julia kills it with the knife. Hearing the dog scream, that man comes out and explodes in anger seeing his dog's corpse. In the meantime, Julia tries to enter the yacht from the other side. She climbs up and tries to enter through a broken window, but the man reaches there before her. He catches her and punches her hard so that she falls down. Julia tries to save herself by holding the furniture, but the man kicks her away. Then he steps on her wrist so that she drops the knife, and then holding her hair, slams her face on the ground and throws her on the sofa and starts strangling her. The kids were watching all this. Casey comes out and fires the flare gun, which hits the man directly. He starts burning and fire spreads in the yacht. The kids escape right then, but Julia comes back. She kicks him down, picks up the map and bag and escapes from there. Ben and Casey go to their father and start crying. Julia also sits with them, and the 3 together bid a final farewell to Tom with tears. Just then, that terrible man comes out of the yacht again, so the family starts running again. Within a short time, the yacht blows up with a big explosion. After walking for a while, they stop near a small spring to take some rest. Casey thinks that maybe that crazy man came seeing the balloons with them. Hearing this, Ben starts feeling guilty. Julia explains to him that it was not his fault and tells everyone to move forward because that man is still after them. On the way near a small pond, Ben is surprised to see a dead hammerhead shark. Just then, Julia notices that the man has reached very close to them again. Everyone starts running and falls down from a sand dune where they see toxic waste. The family crosses it carefully, and it seems that they have got rid of that man. While walking, they see large dead sea creatures and all the plastic accumulated under the sea. Ben starts walking slowly. Then Julia realizes that he is close to dehydration. She tells everyone to stop. When she sees the water bottle, she is shocked. The water in the bottle was almost finished. Casey realizes that maybe she didn't close the bottle properly. Julia screams in anger, saying that the water finished because of her negligence. Casey replies, "What does it matter? We won't survive anyway." A long argument ensues between the two. Still, the family keeps moving forward. After a while, they find a crashed plane. Seeing some movement inside, everyone gets scared, but they were only some birds. The family decides to spend the night inside this plane. They share some food, and Julia finds a family photo in Tom's jacket, which breaks her heart. Casey asks, "Mom, what was yours and Dad's love story?" Julia smiles and says, "Tom was my patient in the hospital. Then one day he expressed his love with flowers and a sweet poem. In the middle of the night, Casey goes out of the plane. Just then, that terrible man tries to catch her from behind, but Julia suddenly pounces on him from behind and kills him by stabbing him repeatedly with a knife. Casey hugs her mother and calms her down. The next morning, insects were crawling on that man's corpse. The family notices that there are many bite marks on his body, meaning some dangerous creature is hiding in this area. As soon as they leave from there, Crabs come out of his mouth. After a few hours, Julia and Casey were looking at the map, but Ben moves ahead slowly. Julia screams stop, but Ben bends down at a pond to drink water. Julia immediately pulls him out and explains that unknown water can make him sick. The sun becomes very harsh, so the family covers their heads with cloth. Ben's head starts spinning, then they find some old chairs and Julia and Casey make a temporary shelter with them. Julia gives Ben an injection and decides that they will spend the night there. In the morning, Julia wakes up hearing a strange sound. Going outside, she sees a large pod of crabs coming towards them. She immediately wakes up the kids, and the three start running. While running, they see a large cargo ship. 3 crew members were alive there. One woman wants to help them, but the other 2 men refuse and lock the container, keeping the family outside. The crabs come close. Julia lifts the kids on top of the container. When she tries to get up herself, the crabs bite her leg hard. The kids pull her up, otherwise she would have fallen down. Through a hole in the container, half the crabs enter inside. The crew members start firing, but the crabs overpower them and kill 2 of them. The last man reaches the hole in the roof, but the crabs pull him down too, and he also dies. Julia ties a bandage on her wound and faints. After a while, when she wakes up, she finds herself alone in the middle of a sandstorm. She panics and starts looking for the kids. She picks up a dead woman's weapon and screams loudly. Casey comes back, hearing her voice, and tells that she and Ben had gone to look for help, but no one is there. Then the 2 meet Ben, who finds an open container where they can stay until the storm stops. Julia takes out Tom's lighter and burns her wound closed, which was extremely painful. After the storm stops, they find another container with many water bottles. While checking the bodies, they find a radio and a gun. Julia contacts Now and says that the map is lost. On top of this, Now informs that they were attacked by arthropods. They are now the creatures here who have gone completely crazy because of oxygen. Now tells the family to hurry up because his instruments have calculated that the sea will return much earlier than expected, and they have only a few hours. He shoots a flare, and the family starts walking in that direction. After walking for a long time, the family finds a broken toilet in which Ben urinates. Now they finally see the submarine nearby, but to reach there they have to cross a large rocky path. As they were going through that path, the walls start shaking and rocks start falling, resulting in a terrible rock slide. Julia immediately pushes her kids to one side and moves back herself, so as not to be crushed. Now a stone wall has come between them. Julia tells the kids that they should move forward without her, but Casey refuses and insists that her mother should try to climb up. After a lot of argument and screaming, Julia promises that she will find her kids later. Forced, Casey pulls her brother and moves forward. The kids run through the rocky path towards the submarine, but upon reaching there see that Now is lying outside covered in blood. He explains that everything is over for him, and now the kids can take the submarine. Thinking that there will be an extra place, Casey runs again to find her mother. Just then Julia sees the crabs coming and she starts firing. She kills some crabs, but the pod was very large and it becomes difficult to fight everyone. At that time, Casey appears on top of the wall and extends her hand. Despite her injured leg, Julia starts climbing quickly. With Casey's help, she reaches the other side and both run together towards the submarine. Ben was already standing on top and keeps firing so that the crabs remain disturbed until the family gets up. As soon as the crabs reach Now's body, they start eating him. Julia picks up the gun and continues firing until the kids get inside. When they are safe, Julia sees the bullets are finished, so she throws the gun at the crabs and gets inside with her kids. The family locks the hatch properly and watches the crabs around the submarine through the window. At this time the sea returns, so the 3 immediately sit in their seats, put on belts and hold each other's hands. Large waves start throwing the submarine violently here and there, due to which Julia sees visions of the whole journey, and Casey vomits. Soon that high-pitched sound returns and the family faints. After a while, Julia and the kids regain consciousness and are happy to see themselves alive. They unlock the hatch and come out and see that the waves have thrown the submarine into a ruined city. That means there is hope to survive and start a new life. And this is where the movie ends.